picture this for a second. Rows of biscuit tins, a weighing scale, junk food for the kids, and the like. Now, when you hear those words, what instantly pops into your head? Can you kind of hear that heavy, metallic clank of an old-school mechanical scale dropping into place? Or maybe you see those super bright, crinkly wrappers of vintage junk food just calling out to you from the bottom shelf. You totally know the ones I'm talking about. Today, we're taking a little detour from our hyper-fast modern world and stepping right into a deeply sensory, wonderfully nostalgic space.
So, welcome to this explainer. I am so thrilled you're here with us. Today, we're going to unpack this really fascinating observation about the physical spaces we inhabit and, how they shift over time. We're looking directly at a very reflective photo walk journal entry penned by a photographer named Eng. This was actually published back in June of 2026, and it's part of a broader series called Notes on Photography. Specifically, this is part 236. What Eng captures here isn't just about, bricks and mortar. It's really this beautiful exploration of memory, retail architecture, and the emotional weight of the places where we just go to buy our daily bread. So, let's get focused and explore these nostalgic aisles together.
Section 1. The Photo Walk.
Okay, let's dive into this. To really get Eng's insights, we first need to understand where exactly these discoveries are popping up organically. This wasn't some rigid sociological study. It was literally born from the simple, everyday act of just moving through the world. Eng notes that these moments happen naturally during routine photo walks or honestly even just super mundane grocery runs. According to the journal entry, Eng keeps stumbling across these spots where grocery stores from the 80s and 90s are basically being recreated, and the absolutely crucial geographic detail here is that these literal time capsules are showing up specifically in rural areas. Way out there, away from the dense, noisy city centers. Out in the small towns and villages, the whole aesthetic and physical layout of the late 20th century grocery store are being lovingly preserved and brought back to life.
Section 2. Artifacts of yesteryear.
So what exactly makes a grocery store actually feel like a time capsule? Well, Eng gives us some very specific visual evidence. First up, the rows of biscuit tins. We're not talking about flimsy, mass-produced cardboard boxes here, but sturdy, reusable metal tins just perfectly lined up on the shelves. Second, a weighing scale. Those physical, manual scales used to weigh out bulk goods, the ones that actually required a human hand to measure and balance everything out. And third, the junk food for the kids, complete with those wildly bright, probably not natural colors that we all vividly remember. I want you to just slow down for a second and really picture these artifacts, because for anyone who grew up in a small town or a village back then, these aren't just random objects sitting on a shelf. Actually, they're the fundamental building blocks of a very specific childhood experience.
And this brilliantly illustrates the exact concept Eng is getting at here, which is nostalgia. By physically recreating the exact environment of the 80s and 90s with these specific artifacts, these rural stores are doing so much more than just selling empty calories. They are actively bringing back memories of yesteryear. They act almost like a bridge straight to the past, offering this incredibly comforting, totally familiar environment to those of us who grew up walking down those exact types of aisles.
Section 3. Rural versus urban retail.
But Eng doesn't just leave us stuck in the past. The journal entry actually pivots to a really sharp direct contrast. On one side, we have the small town or village stores. They're nostalgic, they perfectly mirror the 80s and 90s, and they carry this very distinct personal touch. On the flip side, we have today's modern urban grocery stores. Now, Eng is quick to point out that these urban stores absolutely have equivalent goods. You can obviously still buy biscuits. You can still buy junk food. The modern supply chain is literally a marvel of efficiency. But look at the stark difference in the actual experience. The urban store, even though it has the exact same products, just entirely lacks that unique vibe. It basically trades all that warmth and personality for, sterile efficiency.
Section 4. The personal touch.
And this brings us right to the core thesis of Eng's journal entry. Moving away from the physical objects and getting into the emotional layer of retail, what is fundamentally missing from our modern urban equivalents? It's simply this. Urban stores lack the personal touch. Eng states this super plainly. You can have all the equivalent inventory in the world, beautifully lit, perfectly organized on these pristine modern shelves, but without that personal touch, the environment just remains totally emotionally flat. That human element, that real sense of community connection that was just baked into a small village store. Like when the shopkeeper physically used that manual scale for you, it's completely absent in the urban counterpart.
Which leads me to ask you this directly. Can modern convenience ever replicate a unique vibe? Really think about it for a second. Our modern urban stores are hyper-optimized for speed, self-checkout, and maximum inventory density.
They are quite literally incredible machines of convenience. But in engineering out all the friction, have we also accidentally engineered out all the charm? Like, is it even possible to manufacture a vibe when the primary goal of the space is just rapid transaction?
So, the crucial point is captured beautifully in Ang's concluding thought. They seem to lack the personal touch that gives the old grocery stores their unique vibe. Those biscuit tins and the clunky old scales, they weren't just quirky decorations. No, they were physical manifestations of a slower, much more personal way of doing business. The unique vibe that Ang clearly loves isn't just about aesthetics. It's about the real, tangible human connection that those aesthetics represent.
I want to leave you with this final thought to just sort of ponder as you go about your day. Take a look around the next time you're out running errands. Do the modern grocery stores in your neighborhood actually have a personal touch, or have we permanently traded away unique vibes just for the sake of convenience? Are we gaining time but somehow losing our connection to the spaces where our communities actually gather? Keep your eyes open, just like Ang did on that photo walk, and you might start seeing your own neighborhood in a completely different light. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep learning.